This is Mike with Vant Trading. Welcome to the New Trader Pathway series, lesson plan number 4, the Holy Grail. This is one of the more important videos in the series to me. If I was to put a video together that would really encompass all of what I thought was important for somebody to be a consistent, profitable trader, to me, this would be that video I would send them. Now, we're not going to go into detail and, really break out all the things in this video. That's not what this is meant to be. But I think we're going to give you a good overview and a good guide at what truly is the Holy Grail of becoming a really consistent, profitable trader. Now, what do we mean when we say the Holy Grail? Well, see, the Holy Grail is a metaphor that we kind of use for new traders that are searching for that secret sauce, that secret elixir that's going to make them profitable, enable them, that indicator or that strategy that's going to help them become profitable so they can make the money and buy the cars and the houses and yada, yada, yada. But as you know, trading's not that easy. And we went over the numbers as far as, the successful traders versus non-successful traders. See, to me, trading is an illusion. And I kind of like to equate it to the shell game. See, when I lived up in New York, I lived up 56th and 7th, right up from Times Square. And one of my favorite things to do, I would always go down to Times Square and I would watch the con men set up their little cardboard tables and watch them run the shell game on their on the tourists that would visit. I mean, the shell game, they would have 3 shells, a little rubber ball, and they would maneuver the shell around pretty slowly. And somebody in the crowd, which was part of their con, would place a bet, $100, and they would correctly pick the correct shell and they'd win $100. Now, you as a tourist would be watching this and you saw the same thing. You saw like, hey, this is easy. I know exactly where that ball is going to be. So what would happen is the tourist would put up $100 and they would go and, the con man would move the shells the same exact way at the same pace. But as you know, when the tourist picked the shell, the ball wasn't under there. It was under a different shell. And of course, what would happen, the tourist would think, oh, well, maybe I just made a slight mistake. And then they'd put up $200 and try to, pick the correct shell on the next one. And of course, what the tourist didn't realize is it was a con. See, it was all an illusion. And to me, trading is an illusion. It's not a con. I'm not saying trading is a con, but you look at all these people on social media and they post these charts and they post, hey, I made money in this stock with this pattern and this indicator. And you look at it and say, well, that's easy to do. I can do that. And so you plop down and start trading and thinking that you're going to get the same type of results. But see, that's where the illusion is. See, only 2% of traders are consistently profitable in the long run. And the reason is because traders are constantly focusing on the wrong thing. Is there a Holy Grail? The answer is yes, there is a Holy Grail, but it's not what 90% of the traders think the Holy Grail is. The Holy Grail is you. You are the Holy Grail. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is, see, the Holy Grail isn't some secret indicator or some secret strategy. See, the dirty little secret is none of that stuff works, okay? Nobody can predict what's going to happen in the market. Nobody, even the professionals, can't predict truly what's going to happen with a stock. So, it's a fool's errand. See, trading and the Holy Grail is all about you. It's all about your mindset. It's all about, your beliefs. It's all about your focus. And, as we get into this, you're going to see that what you thought the Holy Grail was is completely different. See, somebody that starts out to become a profitable trader, they are starting a personal journey. And a lot of traders don't realize it. And, typically when we get traders that come in and they enter into our mentorship program and they're looking to learn how to trade, they wind up starting a process that they had no idea that they were starting. They wind up getting into stuff that is so personal and internal that they had no idea this is what went into trading. But see, that's what it's all about. And that's why only 2% are successful over the longer term. So let's get into what we think truly is the Holy Grail. The first thing that professional traders do, okay, that you need to do, and this is a must, is you need to treat trading as a business. Okay, just like any other business, successful businesses, and you have kind of the same success rate with people that start businesses, don't start businesses. And the interesting fact is that when they went back and looked at the successful businesses, the majority of the successful businesses, the one distinction they had is they had a business plan. So if you are treating trading like a business, you too need to have a business plan. And the business plan for a trader is, same thing as a business plan for a business, but also a little bit different. Okay. And let's break down that. So the first section that you need to really have in your trading plan, in your business plan, is what 90% of the traders don't have. And it's what we mandate every trader that comes on our desk have in their plan. And that's what's called a personal foundation. That's where we're talking about having a purpose, having your identity written out. What's your values? What's your power virtues, we call it? What's your vision statement? What's your beliefs? This is really important. Now, you may say, Mike, what does that have to do with trading? Well, as you're going to see, it has everything to do with trading, because if you are not congruent, if you are not in alignment with all of your personal values, beliefs, it will come out in your trading. See, you don't trade the markets, you trade your beliefs about the markets. Now, the second section that you need to have in your trading plan is what we like to call the destination, the roadmap. And basically, this is where you got to have all your life goals, your trading projections, your different revenue buckets. And, what we're talking about is, most traders, they have a short-term account, they have an intermediate swing account, and they also have a long-term investing account. Being a trading, day trading is so emotionally draining. It's really hard to consistently just sit there and day trade. So most of the day traders that are successful have several different accounts, several different strategies along several different time frames. So you really can't start your journey unless you know what your destination is. So it's important to have that in this plan. So again, these are two sections. The first two sections, most traders don't have in their trading plan. Now, the third section that you need to have in your trading plan is what we call the technical trading component portion of your trading plan. Now, this is what a lot of traders think about when we talk about a trading plan. That's where you have your trade strategy drawn up. You got all your trade rules, but you also need to have a risk management section. And not just a risk management section as far as, what's my stop loss? When am I getting out? But you got to have circuit breakers. What's your stop loss for the day? What's your stop loss for the week? And what's your stop loss for the month? Okay. The key about trading is it's all about the odds, and it's a game of failure. So traders that don't focus on risk will wind up blowing out their account. See, 20% of your trades will wind up making over 80 to 90% of your profits. With that statement, if you look at it, what that means is you are constantly, the majority of the time, just like a duck treading water on the pond. So you're just trying to stay in the game until you get that one really good trade or two really good trades for the day, week, whatever it is, that really make up the majority of your profits. But if you wind up going too hard, too strong on the other trades, and you wind up really drawing your account down, you're not going to be able to stay in the game long enough to be able to make those profits. So you got good traders, they focus in on risk. They know what their R multiples are. They work on position sizing. And then one section that we have in our trade components in the risk management section is what's your beliefs about risk? You know, what's interesting about risk is, you know, a lot of people, they get their beliefs from either their parents, maybe somebody else that, you know, teachers, maybe experiences. And a lot of times those beliefs were not intentionally placed there. What's interesting is we have a couple traders from some international traders. And one of the traders we're helping is from Rwanda. You guys know him, you know, Desire. You've probably seen him in some videos or on our show and stuff like that. Well, what was interesting is Desire was having a hard time with risk. See, Desire in Rwanda, you know, really doesn't have a lot as far as what we typically have in the US, right? You know, they don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the money like a lot of other people have. So his views on risk was really different and challenging for him in the beginning. I mean, think about it. You know, if he's making $100 a week or 250 a week, and he's risking 100 to 250 in just one trade, that could definitely, his beliefs about that could definitely have a say into how he's going to trade. And that was a challenge that he had to overcome, which he has. So, you got to look in there and really dig down and not just have a 1 or 2 sheet trade plan, but you got to really dig down. What is your risk management? What's your rules as far as trading? Now, the next section of the trading plan is you got to have a competitive edge. Now, in a competitive edge, you got to have 2 things. You got to have a competitive edge in your trading, but you also got to have a mental edge. And so we make sure our traders, when they're putting their trading plan together, they focus on how am I going to get an edge over everybody else in the marketplace using my mind, okay? Trading is a mental game, and it's really important. Now, the last section of the trading plan, which, again, a lot of traders do not have in their trading plan, is what we call systems and processes. See, you have to create a system and a process that is nothing more than a framework to help you make your daily decisions. Okay, if you don't have a really good system and a really good process for your trading or for your discipline or for how you review trades or for how you're handling your mental and self-discipline plans, well, then you're going to fail. See, what happens is when you get into trading, okay, and tell me if this applies to you. When you get into trading, and I don't care how good of a trader you are, it's a stressful situation. I mean, think about it. If you're sitting down trading, how many times have you just, narrowed your focus and, you're just watching every tick? Now, obviously, that's not a good thing, but no matter how good a trader you are, it's a stressful situation. So you're always going to typically fall back to what your habits and what you have ingrained as far as your beliefs. So trying to make a change in a stressful situation is really hard. And unless you have a system to deal with that, to handle your decision-making process, your trading process, you're not going to be successful. So every single great trader, they have not great strategies, but they have great systems and processes, which are frameworks for how they make their daily decisions, and it helps them control what their focus is. And this is a really important part of the process of being a good trader. So that's part of the trading plan. So again, what you need to do is you need to treat trading like a business. I mean, just like any other business, you got to know what your edge is. You got to know what your mission and values are. You got to know what the customer is you're going after, or what the trades are you're going after. What does the market look like? And what are the rules in there? And what's our systems and processes for going out and executing? And just like any other business, you know, everything needs to be in alignment. And if there's one thing that is not in alignment, okay, if your strengths and weaknesses aren't in alignment with the strategy you're trading, you're not going to work. And it's not going, you're not going to be a successful trader. So now you can start to see why, you know, there's a lot of traders that typically, you know, they don't even know why they're making the mistakes they're making, and they don't know how to fix those mistakes. So that's something that's really important. Now, the second part of our Holy Grail to being a successful, consistent, profitable trader is you need to have a mental edge. See, trading is a mind game. And just like any other performance sport, okay, you got to look at yourself as a elite performance athlete, okay? And just like it's the same success formula that a baseball player has, that a football player has, and we talked about this before, it's the 80-20 rule. 80% of it's mental, 20% is skill. Okay, so what do traders do when they typically start to struggle? They start looking for their version of the Holy Grail. They start looking for that strategy. They start looking for that indicator. So they're focusing in on the 20%. So you can see why most traders typically can't turn it around. And with that, that means that personal foundation that we talked about in the trading plan is so important. Okay, your beliefs about trading, your beliefs about the markets. Most people don't even think about that, and it's so important. And you got to have it all in alignment, because if there's conflicts in there, it's going to show up into your trading. You also need, when we're talking about having a mental edge, you need to worry about and start thinking about your heuristics that you constantly use. Now, heuristics are nothing more than shortcuts that your mind has developed to help you lower the amount of decisions you're making on a day-to-day basis, okay? This is one of the things that through evolution, you know, we have developed to help us really get an edge and stay alive going forward, right? And so, but the problem is a lot of these shortcuts, a lot of these heuristics, you know, again, you didn't consciously make them, and they may help us make decisions in our day-to-day life, but they're not necessarily good heuristics or good shortcuts to have when we're trading. You know, we talked about a couple of them, the recency bias. We talked about the confirmation bias, right? So there's a bunch of heuristics that you need to look at and be able to journal to see if you are being affected by any of them, and you need to come up with a really good plan. Now, almost every good trader that I know typically practices meditation and visualization skills. Now, you know, we meditate and visualize the trading day every day. We do it as a group. We do it on the trading floor as a group of traders. And so if you were to come on and trade live with us, the first thing we would do at 9:15, you know, if you're trying to get ready for the markets at 9:15, you're not ready. Okay, you're never going to be ready, because typically what we do is at 9:10, 9:15, we will come together as a group and we will spend 10 minutes visualizing the trading day. So if you properly went through and prepared all your trades, and you went through and you have your game plan for the day, now what you got to do is you got to sit there, you got to visualize, okay, what happens if the market doesn't do what I think? What happens if it goes the other way? What happens if this happens in the market? What happens if the Fed steps in and does some kind of an announcement? Okay, so you got to know what's going to happen prior to it happening. You got to know how you're going to react and what your pathway is going to be. See, a reporter once asked Michael Jordan how he is so calm every time he takes a game-winning shot. And he's had so many game-winning shots. And the answer that Michael gave, I thought, was definitely impressive. And what he said was, he said, you know what? I am so comfortable taking game-winning shots because I've already taken those shots in my mind over and over. And see, he explained how an hour, 2 hours before the game, Michael would sit in the locker room by himself with a towel over his head, and he would visualize every single second of the game. You would visualize every single second of the game, and even, moves, detail-oriented, how he, if this guy defended him this way, how he would juke him out. And he even visualized all the way through the end of the game to taking that game-winning shot. So visualization was one of the keys to him and is a key to a lot of peak performers that you see out there. So we utilize visualization. It's a good practice to have, as we also utilize meditation. Now, you also, when we're talking about mental edge, and I talked about this before, you got to be a guardian to whatever enters your mind, okay? Because there's so much that comes in and you have no idea what's going to affect you and not affect you. So you want to make sure that you have a filter and that the information you're bringing in is positive, correct information for you. And that's why free advice doesn't mean it's good advice, okay? And you need to vet the information that you're having coming in. There are so many people out there now that just, they want to get their level of importance through helping other people on social media. And it doesn't matter that they haven't done it. It doesn't matter what they're saying is correct or not. They just getting a reaction is a way of getting instant gratification. And you got to be careful because now, more so than any time in history, there is so much information available that you really got to have a system for filtering that information. Okay. Let's go into the third thing. The third thing that is important that successful traders have is that they develop and consistently work on the personality traits that they need to be successful. Now, one of the personality traits that you need to be successful is you need to have a mental toughness. Okay, you got to be mentally tough. And if you're not mentally tough and things upset you very easily, or you're easily swayed by things, then you're going to have a tough time in trading. So you got to have mental toughness. Now, you also, though, have to develop self-discipline. All good traders are disciplined traders. They follow the rules and they don't deviate. If you deviate, then you eventually will get blown up. So you have to develop this muscle called self-discipline. And it's like any other muscle. The only way to really make it better, to develop it, is to consistently use it. And to consistently use it, it's all about intention, okay? Are you doing things with intention, with self-awareness? That's really important. The other thing you need to have as a successful trader is you need to have passion. You need to have passion. You need to have a burning desire. If you're not passionate about trading, don't enter into this business. If you're entering into trading because you want to make money and you're not passionate about it, don't waste your time. Okay. Matter of fact, this right here is probably one of the biggest things that, most traders would save themselves so much heartache, time, use, and blowing up of funds of just, they try to come in, they're gamblers, they think this is an easy way to make money, and they're truly not passionate about the business. See, you have to have a burning desire. You have to be committed to trading. You have to burn the boats, okay? Arnold Schwarzenegger was asked how he was able, with such disadvantages, to come over to America to be a reigning Olympic universe weightlifter, to be one of the top actors, even though he had a speech impediment. And his one word that he gave, or his one phrase that he gave, was that he had a burning desire to succeed. You need to have a burning desire. You need to have passion. You need to have commitment, okay? And you need to embrace failure. See, most traders, it takes anywhere from 6 months to over 2 years to become consistently profitable. And through that period of time, there is a lot of failure. And your beliefs about failure will be important to how you move forward, okay? If you are not able to handle failure and you're not passionate in this game, you're not going to stay in long enough to see the consistent profitability. Just not going to happen. So trust me, on over 30 years of being in this business, okay, of trading, I have not seen a trader yet be able to come in and just trade, not like trading, make money, and be successful at it over the long term. I've seen traders come in, not know anything, trade and make money on the short term. I see that all the time, okay? But if they stay in the game, the majority, if not all of them, eventually lose their money, including the money they made and the money they started with. So you got to have that passion. You got to have that burning desire. All right, let's go into the next thing. The next thing, the fourth thing you need to be a successful trader is you got to keep it simple, okay? Keep it simple, man. Set yourself up for success. And keeping it simple, Tyler's going to talk next about strategies and stuff like that, okay? Make sure you pick a strategy that fits with your personal strengths. So important. I mean, I see so many people come in and they want to be day traders, and yet they can't think quickly. They can't think on their feet. Well, if you can't think and process things quickly, you're not going to be a good day trader, and you're going to be constantly butting your head. Okay. So many people, they focus on what they think they're going to get instead of thinking about, well, what's my strengths? What's my weakness? So keep it simple. The other thing when we come into talking about trading, again, it's all about the odds, guys. It's all about the odds. Okay. It's not about some secret strategy. Yeah, you can get yourself an edge and get yourself maybe better odds, but in the long run, all of it's bullshit. Nobody knows what is going to happen with the stock. And all you can do is play the odds, have a good system in place, and really structure yourself for success. And so even if you're day trading, no matter what strategy you're going after, you need to keep it simple, use multiple time frames, and understand what that means when we're talking about charts. Okay. So, again, I've showed a lot of in the trade of the day videos, I showed you guys how upper time frames always win out over the shorter time frame trades. And I showed you some trades like Tesla, where on the shorter time frame, and Disney, where the shorter time frame, you're looking one way, but the upper time frame gave you the edge to go the other way. Tesla, we were looking on the shorter time frame as a short, but if you looked at the upper time frame, gave you a nice advantage to the upside, right? Same thing in Disney, but the reverse. So, you got to keep it simple. You got to look at multiple time frames if you're a trader, and use it the correct way. The other thing is take the easy trades. The biggest thing that I see is traders overtrade. Okay. They overtrade. They're trying to, I can never make money if I'm not in the market. That's their philosophy. Okay. So they always got to be in the market. The problem is somebody that's doing that typically is doing it for other reasons. They're doing it to get something mentally. And if you're trying to get something mentally out of trading, that's not going to work. Okay. So you got to make sure that you keep it simple. And there are easy trades out there. And the best way to get the easy trade, the best way to get the A+ setup is to understand relationships, okay, and how they work, and trade off the relationships. There's an edge there, guys, and that's why we constantly talk to you about. I mean, how long did we have we traded the dollar, the VIX, and rates, okay, based along with the indices and the markets? I mean, it's been an edge for us over 6 months, and we have done tremendous trading based off those relationships, understanding relationships of gold, understand relationships of, okay, if Walmart had great earnings, what's that mean for Target? What's that mean for Costco? Okay. And, you know, maybe going into the easier trade is one of those other stocks that won't have all the attention to them. So, you know, go for the easy trade, guys. There are easy trades. And I know a lot of people laugh at me because I have a saying. I say it's like taking candy from a baby. Well, go after the baby. Take the candy from the baby. That's what we teach. The other thing is, you know, go for the A+ setups. Okay, wait for that confirmation to come in. Wait for that really good setup to where you have an alignment on all across all the multiple time frames, and they really set up for you where the odds are really in your favor. So keep it simple. Most traders I know, if you were to look at their charts, you wouldn't see all these indicators and stuff like that. You would see basic charts. They keep it simple. They look at order flow, and they have a good trade system and process. That's all it is. Trading is not that hard. I'm going to say it again. Trading is not that hard. It's not, guys. Okay? Stop making it hard and start focusing on what's important to be a good trader. Okay? Now, let's go to the fifth thing. Every successful person I know has what, and they follow a simple system of what I call Kanai. And actually, it's not what I call it, it's what Anthony Robbins calls it. And that stands for constant and never-ending improvement. Okay? Constantly trying to improve themselves going forward. And we talked about this in the other videos. You got to have a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Okay? A growth mindset basically is a mindset where you believe that you are the reason for your results. Okay? Where you are today is because of the daily decisions you consistently make. Okay? If you are rock hard and you have this really, really good body that, you know, and you're really in good shape, that's a result of all the decisions you make on a consistent basis daily. If you have a big pot belly and, you know, you're not rock hard and you're not fit, that's a result of all the decisions that you have made on a consistent basis. So how do you change that? You change those decisions. Okay. But you can only change those decisions and make a difference if you believe that you are the reason for where you are and the results you're getting. If you think it's outside sources, that's a fixed mindset, and you will never be successful because you're always going to be reliant upon something else. Okay. You also need to make sure in trading that you're constantly journaling and reviewing your trading. And I'm not talking about once a week, once a month. I'm talking about every day. See, journaling your trading is so important. This is where the growth is, guys. And it's not just journaling your trading. It's putting your trades at the end of the day into your trade journal so you can track them. And then it's reviewing your trades. It's reviewing not just the results, but also reviewing the process you go. The process you use to review your trades are so important. What we do every day for our mentorees is at 4:30, we go through their trades and we review their thought process. We review their trade process, we review the results, and, you know, they find that that probably is the most important thing they can do. And a lot of those trades from that review process comes into our trade of the day. So what I'd like to get, you know, Chris and you guys that are part of our mentor group, please drop a note down in this video and, you know, comment on how you think the trade review portion of the process, how it's become important, some of the instincts that or benefits you may have gotten out of that. And I'll tell you, that's where the growth is, okay? You got to constantly be focusing on improving, okay? And not just with your trading, but you also got to journal and have an emotional journal, right? Because we talked about it, emotions, mindset, that's a big portion of what trading's about. And what's funny is when we're going through our review sessions, you know, a lot of the traders will be like, I get more information from how they talk about their trades than what their trades look like. And, you know, and I'll tell you, you know, Chris will tell you, Simon will tell you, a lot of times it's like I'm picking stuff up from how they're telling me about their trades because it's connected to their thought process and their emotions. And a lot of times it's like, yeah, well, you know, I had this trade, I lost. So I moved my stop. I got out because I didn't want to have another losing trade. And I want to really keep my P&L curve going positive. Well, that statement right there just dissects has way more nuggets than anything you can think of. I mean, you're talking about your P&L, not talking about your trading. You're talking about recency bias, which is a heuristic of the trade before, letting that affect this trade. All things that if you don't think about, if somebody's not there to point that out, you're never going to change it. It's so important. So, you know, you got to focus. You got to make sure you review your trades and you have a good system for reviewing them. And you don't want, and what's important is not the form fit, guys, right? You can't go back. It's easy to look back and say, oh, well, I should have stayed in. Look where it went. It went to the moon. Okay. No, that's, you know, you got to be careful and you got to say to yourself, and you got to know how to review your trades. You got to know what made this trade invalid. You got to know what to look for. And then more importantly, what most people don't do after you're done, okay, you got to take what you learned from that trade and you got to create a action item to correct what you did wrong. That is so important, and most people do not do that. They do it and they just write it down, and that's all they do. And remember what I said, trading's stressful. When you're in the heat of the battle, I don't care how good of a trader you are, you got so many things to focus on. Okay, so many things to look at and to be accountable for and to make decisions on that you're not going to remember what you said you were going to do today just by leaving it up to your mind. You got to write it down, take an action plan, and we put it into our system, what our traders do, into what we call our trader checklist. And it's something that we have a system in place so that these traders now can focus on that during the stressful situation to really help them out to become better traders and not make the same mistake over and over again. Because here's what happened, guys. When you make the same mistake over and over again, you actually are ingraining that to happen more and more because you're creating those neuro pathways in your brain that's getting stronger, they're getting thicker, and now you're making it harder to make a change because you're not truly focusing on or having a system for how to make that change and for having those action items. So don't just log your, I hate social media. Okay. Oh, you got to log your trades in your trade journal. Great. What the hell's that do? Okay. I put in what I made, what I lost, and maybe even write a little synopsis about your trade thesis and what you did. Guess what? Not going to help you. Bullshit. Okay. I'm calling bullshit. Stop it. Okay. It's great. And yes, we log our trades in our trade journal. Okay. And if you don't take the following steps and you don't review the trades review what you did wrong without form fitting from what you're seeing now in the future. And you don't, more importantly, take and create an action item to fix those trades, okay? And then having a system to implement it so that when you're under a stressful situation of trading, that you can actually make the change, okay? If you don't do that part, that's the important part. Logging something into a journal is not going to help you, okay? It's a mindless job. Do you need to do it? Yes. But if you don't do the last steps, it doesn't mean anything, okay? So, you know, I see all this advice given out on social media, but they never give you the last piece of the advice that is actually the most important part of journaling, okay? The most important part. So, you know, you need to do it with your emotional state, with your emotional journal. You need to do it with your stock journals as well, okay? Finally, the last part of what we consider to be a holy grail is you need to do what professional traders do, okay? What do professional traders do? They don't trade their P&L. They trade the trade, okay? And, you know, one of the books I recommended was from Mike Bellafiore from S&B Capital. He has two books. One's One Good Trade. I love that statement. One good trade. He's really good at, you know, focusing on that. One good trade. It's not one good trade to make money to see my P&L grow, okay? It's focus on the trade that you're taking. And, you know, what I wish is my charts, all the numbers would go away. Like, seriously, to me, if I was teaching new traders, I'd create a system where all the numbers on the side of the charts go away, okay? And it would be, instead of numbers, it would be like A, B, C, D or something like that. So I get in at A, and B is my stop loss, and C is my target, D is my target, and work it that way. Because, you know, trading your P&L, you know, trading has nothing to do. Your P&L, the profit and losses that you make is a result, okay? The money you make in trading is a result of focusing on a good trade. It's a result of all your actions you've taken and whether or not you are a good trader or a bad trader. Now, the key, though, is what people don't understand is you could be a great trader, and guess what? You're going to lose. Okay, it's a lose-sum game, right? I mean, I know great traders. Every great trader goes through a losing streak, okay? Every great trader is going to have losing trades. Doesn't make it a bad trade, okay? But the key is when you get in a trade, you need to trade the trade, manage the trade. And it has nothing to do with the trade before. It has nothing to do with anything else but what's going on with that trade and what you're focused in on, okay? And your stop should only move based upon the trade dynamics, not based upon whether you're going to win or lose money, okay? I hate it. I'm traders. Oh, well, I'm going to, you know, just move my stop to break even, okay? Why? Why are you going to move your stop to break even? Now, we move our stops, okay, but we do it based upon, you know, the validity of the trade, because if it breaks this level, then guess what? The trade's not valid anymore. So you need, you know, if there's one thing I can tell you, man, just trade the trade and get rid of everything else. Don't think about money. Don't think about, you know, what the trade before is, or, you know, how you're going to buy a car and whatever. And don't have your P&L up on your screen. Guys, it's what, 2022 going in 2023. Most of the trading platforms will allow you to let them set an automatic stop, meaning that once you hit a loss, whatever your circuit breaker is for the day, they lock your trading up. Okay, used to be only prop firms would do that, right? As far as from a risk basis. But no, it's 2022, 2023. Most of the trading platforms now, you can call them up and say, hey, I want my account to shut down. Get me out of a trade and don't let me trade anything else if it hits $500 for the day or whatever your number is. Okay, so you don't need to know your P&L. Okay, and it should not come into play when you're making your trades. I see so many traders don't even realize that they're affected because they know what the heck's going on with the money portion of the trade. If you did your trade management, you did your trade plan, you did your position sizing, you already know how many shares you're going in, you already know what your stop loss is going to be, you already know what your targets are. So run with the trade, please. The other thing a professional trader does, and this is so important, and I never hear this said, but they quickly identify when markets change. Okay, think about it. If you traded in 2020 after the pandemic, okay, the market basically went straight up off the bottom. And you could have just, there was a trade strategy that worked that basically would have made you whatever amount you wanted to make if you followed that trade strategy. Well, guess what? 2021, 2022, that same trade strategy would have killed you and blown up your account. So what professional traders realize is that there are different markets. Markets are constantly changing, and trade strategies that work in one market doesn't necessarily work in the next market. And to be a professional trader, you need to be able to have rules to quickly identify when a market changes, okay, and what strategy works in that new market, and to adapt and go. That's the key, guys, okay? That's what professional traders do. They don't trade the same strategy all throughout. They're constantly changing according to what market they are in, what information they're being given, okay? The quicker you can realize that, the quicker you can make that change, the more profitable you're going to be. And most traders, and that's why I tell people all the time, you've got to have a note-taking system. And you've got to have just not a note-taking system that's on paper. You have a system that you can tag things, you can go back and you can look things up, and you can really see, okay, boom, this is that type of market, and this is the strategies that I've used in the past that works in that market. If you're not an experienced trader, it's all that more important to start that database of taking notes, of tagging things, so that when you get back into that market, it's so easy for you to go back and look at it. See, trading, when you reach when the bell goes off, okay, you're like a lawyer. You've already done all the hard work. Okay, now you're just reacting. Okay, you're actually more like a football player. You already did all the studying. You already did all the note taking. You already did everything. You came up with a game plan. Then once the bell rings, boom. Okay, you are just reacting based upon how well you prepared yourself, and you can really identify when markets change. Every piece of information that comes in is something of use to you and your business. Okay, and so if you want to be lazy and just put your trades into a journal and not do anything else, you're not going to be successful. You got to put it into the journal, you got to review them, and you got to come up with action plans. Then the next step, you got to do it with your emotional trade portion of the trades. Then the next step is you got to go, what did I learn today about the market? What did I learn today about trading? And put it in. Okay, that's what makes the difference between a successful trader and not a successful trader. The problem is most people are just too lazy, and they don't realize how important it is to gather the information. Okay, now another thing is professional traders, they pay themselves along the way. Okay, they pay themselves. So if you're in a trade and you're going and the trade's going in your direction, they're taking profits. Okay, they understand the state of the game, and they understand that, some trades need room to grow, and that they may have to, constantly go in and out of those trades based upon a certain setup. They pay themselves. And what you'll find, and this is probably one of the biggest things that we teach our traders, is really good traders are really good at mastering their entry. Mastering entries. They are so important. Exits, you'll get there. Entries make all the difference in the world. Because if you have a good entry, okay, and you're not chasing on that entry, then guess what? You now have increased the odds dramatically. Your stops now, you basically are giving yourself an edge by mastering, having a good trading plan, mastering those entries. And you guys know this, right? You know this. When you chase a stock, right, like a breakout, well, if you had bought it based when it pulled back to VWAP, think about what your stop is, right? But if you buy it so far away, look how much more risk you're taking just to take this trade, okay? So professional traders have mastered the entries, and most of them are contrarians and, you know, buy when they know exactly when they should be buying versus selling. And then finally, as far as being a professional trader, they focus on risk management first. Okay. Risk management is the most important in trading. Okay. It's an odds game, and you got to stay in the game. It's so important. Well, that right there to me is the six, okay, the six keys, ingredients to becoming, you know, a consistently profitable, consistent trader. You know, if there's one statement I can say of all the years that I've been working with traders, it would be this: great traders know themselves and have a clear understanding of who they are. They know their strengths and their weaknesses, and they're able to use them to help them to succeed. They have mastered their mindset, and they practice self-discipline. And they have created systems that have become the framework for all of their daily actions, which helps them to ensure that they have consistently profitable results. That, to me, guys, sums up a successful trader. Okay. I've been doing this a long time. And yeah, I mean, look, I'm very passionate about this. You can find traders that, you know, are profitable occasionally, but this is an action sport, guys. You got to put your heart and soul into this. You got to put the time into this. It's anybody that starts a business knows, okay, you wind up working more hours than somebody that works a job, but you do it because you're passionate about it. And if that's not you, you shouldn't be in trading, okay? There's not some secret indicator. There's not some secret system. If you're paying for it, just, you know what? Come on. There's not some secret to this. It's all in here in this video that we just given you. Okay. That's the pathway. Okay. That's the Holy Grail to being a successful trader. See, we're passionate about this because I see people, they create these courses, they create these chat rooms, they charge this outrageous money. And, you know, I see people get suckered into this stuff. And then they start, like, you know, they start trading and they think it's, you know, profit. I see one trader, you know, is very successful, just got fined by the FTC actually. But, you know, his system's insane. 99% of the traders that, you know, he has a good system. He's a great trader, but guess what? 99% of people that if they even follow this system will lose money. Okay. Cause they're not, it's, you know, he's dealing with fast, inefficient markets, and, you know, people can't, you know, it's just bullshit, man. And you know what? Look, there are some good chat rooms out there. There are some good programs out there. Okay. But if you don't have any of this, it's not going to help you. Okay. It's okay to get information from other people. It's even okay to get trade ideas. But guess what? You got to make them your own. And if you don't have all this other stuff, if you don't have this framework, if you don't have the mindset, you're not going to make it. You can, you know, and that's why people that follow these chat rooms that give you great trades, a lot of them don't make money with it. It's because they're missing the most important part, which is the structure. So guys, I'm very passionate about this. If you have any questions, please email me, drop something down in the chat. I'll answer any questions that you have, because we want to see you successful. And we don't want to see you become a number, because this is really a great business. All right, guys, hope you liked and enjoyed this video. If you did, click the like button, drop a line down below in the chat, and I'll see you in the next video.